Hello everybody, this is Matthew Crooks and Sean Kendrot here. This is going to be the first video in a series of videos we're going to do on Feeder Manager 2.0. The first thing we're going to demo and describe for you is the performance and some of the improvements we're seeing with Feeder Manager 2.0. So with that, we're going to jump into a demo and then we'll recap what we saw. Go ahead, Sean.
All right, thanks, Matt. So, really want to focus on today is some of the improvements we've made with editing performance within Feeder Manager 2. So, what I'm viewing here is an instance of ArcMap, and I've actually noticed that I have a bunch of feeders in this area, and everything's colored the way it's supposed to, except for these two feeders over here. Let's take a look at what's actually happening with these feeders. So let's look at my symbology. So I know really want to focus on performance here, but I really want to kind of drill down into what's happening with this. So I can see that this dark red is GR202, and the dark red for 202 is actually bleeding into what I know is GR505, and really this is a problem because everything's supposed to be singly fed in my network. So I'm guessing that someone forgot to open this tie device, and sure enough, I look at this tie device, it's closed on all three phases. I'm going to go ahead and open that up on all three phases. We're going to really talk about what's actually happening here when I do an update with Feeder Manager 1 today. So it's gathering up some information to figure out what needs to happen. I actually have a setting set with Feeder Manager to tell me how many features are going to be edited if it's over a certain threshold. It's a configuration you can do within our catalog. You can say if you want to show this dialog or not. And I see that this is actually about to edit over 10,000 features. That's because between those two feeders there's 10,000 features. I'm going to hit yes because this is the normal state of my network. That is supposed to be a tie device. We need to make sure those edits are in there. So what happened here is, or what's happening also is, well, first we edited the trace weight for the switch. So that the trace weight got edited for that switch and only that switch. Trace weight is not updated for any of those other 10,000 features attached to this network. But what's actually happening here is we're editing feeder ID 2, feeder ID 2, and feeder information for all these fields. And because we're making edits, we're seeing AUs being fired off also, and that's what these message boxes are from. And they're from actual AUs. And most likely these AUs are not set to not work under Feeder Manager mode. So great improvement to make if you have AUs is just simply say, well, if you have custom AUs, ignore any work you need to do if the AU mode is Feeder Manager. So we're editing all these 10,000 features. That's why we see the twirling here, is because we're still in the process of updating those 10,000 features. Again, Feeder ID 2, and feeder information being updated for all those 10,000 features. Trace weight was updated for one feature, just that switch. Okay, so Feeder Manager is done. All those features have been updated, and now we can see our symbology as it's supposed to be. We can see that this is GR202. The green is GR505. So we see the symbology exactly as we expect it to be. Let's take a look at what's actually happening with Feeder Manager 2 now. So we see the coloring is actually a little different between this one and the last one. It's not red like it used to be. I'll scroll down to GR202 and I'll see that it is still supposed to be symbolized on red, and 505 is still supposed to be green. But what's actually happening here is this yellow is showing me all other values. So this means one of two things. And as we see here, I'm still symbolizing on my feeder ID field. So this means one of two things. Either I've added a new feeder and I have yet to symbolize that feeder, or the most likely case is that I have a multi-fed situation. And that's what's happening here, is I actually do have a multi-feed situation. So I'm going to go ahead and open this device, make it open on all three phases, just like we did before. I'm going to hit update, and we can see that Feeder Manager 2 is already done. So what did we do here that we didn't do the last time? Well, we updated our switch. So you edited the switch, or I edited the switch. I've made it a tie device, and we still edited the trace weight for that tie device. But there's a lot of other stuff that we didn't do. I'm going to let Matt talk about that.
Yeah, so within Feeder Manager 1, as Sean touched on, we updated Feeder ID 1, Feeder ID 2, and Feeder Info within the database directly. So it went through feature by feature and updated that. Actually, within the add and delete tables, that the number of features you edited or the number of edits you made actually doubles because you're adding and deleting 10,000 features, which accumulates over 20,000 edits. That's why it takes so long, right? Everything's being shoved back in the GeoDatabase. We're updating things directly there. Whereas in Feeder Manager 2, the only thing we're updating within the database is that trace weight for the switch or tie device that Sean mentioned. The feeder ID 1, feeder ID 2, feeder info, all of that is updated within a new area we're calling the plugin workspace. We're going to get into more detail on that in another blog post, but what that allows us to do is really have dramatic improvements in performance, right? We're head and shoulders. You saw that just took a matter of seconds, whereas with Feeder Manager 1 that took a minute or more. We didn't time it, but it took significantly longer, as you can see.
Well, Matt, I would like to say that it wasn't a matter of seconds. It was less than a second.
Yeah, good clarification. It was fast. So, go ahead.
Another key thing with performance is not just your editing performance, the time it takes you to do edits, but as Matt talked about, the A&D edits that are being made. You think about the A&D edits; those are the edits that are made for your version. And really those come into play when you start making you start reconciling versions. And without all those 20,000 changes, you start seeing less version conflicts. Less version conflicts means that you don't have to go manually modify those versions to make sure that they're reconciled properly. So the time it takes you to manually do all those version conflicts and manage those, that time is now taken away. So not only editing performance, editing time is saved, but now you save time trying to manage all those version conflicts that Feeder Manager was trying to introduce.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Feeder Manager 2, as you can see in this first video, is very promising. We've added, or I think we've significantly improved performance, and we've reduced the chance of a version conflict. And there's a lot more that we've done with this product that we're going to show you in coming videos. So please stay tuned with our blog posts. Send us your feedback, and please let us know your thoughts on this new solution.